Broadcast Row for the Now generation. And now a special presentation from Broadcast Row. Broadcasting live from the greatest city in the world. Wake up. It's time, people, for your morning online gathering. Hosted by Mardel. It's the Wrestling Morning Show. And it starts now.
Okay, so good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wrestling Morning Show. It is 9:01 Eastern Standard Time. It's your host, Mardel. Thank you for joining us today on the program. Now, to chime in, to call, to text, the number is 844-627-3352. That's 844-627-3352. And, of course, you probably already know this. You can follow us on Twitter at Live Morning Show. We also stream live on Facebook at The Wrestling Morning Show. Any information you guys need, thewrestlingmorningshow.com. Well, everybody across the country, across the pond, anywhere in the world, if you're listening, welcome. What an interesting Smackdown it was last night. We knew this was going to happen, the feud between Kevin Owens and Shane O'Mac, and it really unraveled last night. We knew that Hell in a Cell was 30 days away. How are they going to build this up? Because they really took their time last week on the program, and for the most part, storyline-wise, across the entire Smackdown, they took their time as well this past week. But something happened, of course. What I want to do right now, we're going to refresh in you guys' memory. We're going to go back to last night. Now, Kevin Owens comes into the ring and demands to be a special guest referee. But, of course, somebody stops him. Let's go ahead and take a listen to last night. Refresh your memory real quick. Let's listen to this audio that occurred.
That's an understatement, Tommy. Kevin Owens has gone off the deep end.
Hell in the Cell will take place in Detroit. They'll christen the brand new Little Caesars Arena. We're excited about that. Corey Graves joins the broadcast booth. We'll talk about that coming up. We have a lot of show coming up. We're going to talk about the 5 moments that made a difference in the WWE this past week. We got the code break coming up in the second hour. Let's take a listen.
As extremely profound as I'm sure what you were about to say was, I have some exciting news for you and your better half, Carmella. Carmella, the match you're about to have with Natalya now has a special guest referee, and that's me. So referee, as it were, I'm gonna need that shirt. I need the shirt. Take the shirt. Take the shirt off. I need that.
Here we go.
Okay, the show opens with Carmella and James Ellsworth in the ring. And, of course, that's when Kevin Owens comes out. I was hoping this entire time we would see something that would kind of get us to Hell in the Cell. And, of course, this is it. It's been building up for a couple weeks now. Started with SummerSlam. Join the conversation. It's 844-627-3352. We are streaming live right now. You can just, obviously, if you're on Twitter, just click. The link's already up.
Thank you for that. How's everybody doing tonight? Listen, Kevin, I came out here because I'm going to shut this down, nip it right in the bud. You are not going to do what you did last week and come out here and make yourself a referee. See, Kevin, at every turn, I've been extremely patient, but you've been defiant. You have been so defiant to me. And Kevin, one thing that we have to get very clear.
Okay, I had to stop it right there. Now, obviously, he had a Roman moment where he forgot the promo. If this was anybody else, Kevin Owens would have interrupted and destroyed him. But instead, Kevin Owens, being the pro that he is, tries to lead him on to get him back on track. He got stuttered because the crowd said, "You suck." And, of course, he got flustered. Now the crowd obviously realizes this. Out of respect, they start chanting Shane O'Mac. Here we go.
You need to stop blaming me for your losses. Let's go back to SummerSlam. You blamed me for your loss at SummerSlam. When I told you, you and AJ, if you put your hands on me, well, things can happen. But once again, the conclusion of that match, you blame me for your loss. Let's go back 2 weeks ago right here on Smackdown Live. Once again, you had another opportunity at the United States Championship where you yourself got to pick your own referee. You picked Baron Corbin. He came down and he didn't even finish. He left. He left the entire match. He walked away. But once again, Kevin, you blame me for your losses. Kevin, I don't know what else to do for you.
The only reason Baron Corbin left is because you pulled him out of the ring. You interfered just like you did at SummerSlam. Okay? Now, please don't act like you're doing me any favors, okay? I know that you never wanted me on SmackDown Live, and guess what? That's the one thing I can agree with you on, because I don't want to be on SmackDown Live either. If it was up to me, I would still be on Raw.
Well, we definitely agree on that. And I wonder why that is, Kevin. Oh, let me go back and go down memory lane. Is that because Triple H single-handedly gave you the Universal Championship? See, that's not how it works here on SmackDown Live. You have to earn your championships. Matter of fact, all talent have to earn their success here, Kevin. And by the way, when you look at me, don't blame me why you're not successful. Blame yourself.
So you're telling me that the reason I'm not United States champion right now has nothing to do with you? Nothing to do with you. Of course it has to do with you. Everything here has something to do with Shane McMahon, because you make sure that's how it is. Yeah. Shane, what happened, man? Why are you like this? Why do you need to do all these things to get the spotlight? Is it because your daddy didn't give you enough attention when you were a kid? Is that what it is? Is that why you're willing to do anything to be the center of attention? You're willing to parade your kids around here and make them dance during your entrance? Huh? Is that?
Do not mention my kids again.
What about jumping off the cell? Huh? Was that? Look, Dad, look what I can do. I can jump off the cell. Look, Daddy, I can fall off really tall things and get back up. Look, Daddy, I can survive a helicopter crash. You know what, man? I'm gonna be real honest with you right now. Your entire family would have been better off if you hadn't survived that crash. Everyone. Your dad, your wife, and especially your kids.
Oh, it's Shane McMahon! Shane McMahon on Kevin Owens!
So, there it goes. It begins. Shane O'Mac attacks Kevin Owens, gives him a nice little beatdown. Now, unfortunately, camera-wise, let's talk television. We can't see anything. It's behind the broadcast booth. Referees come out. Securities come out. Crowd's into it. And I don't know where we see Daniel Bryan coming out. Of course, in this kind of shocking moment, the entire crowd starts chanting yes. Either because of the beatdown of Kevin Owens or they're just excited to see Daniel Bryan. What's priceless here is the new commentator, Corey Graves. Glad he's on there. If they had to plug in somebody, he's a pro. He knows how to do it. He was a little flat last night, I thought. He's very good at what he does, and he's come a long way, Corey Graves. So much props to him. I do believe that it should be a different voice on SmackDown compared to Raw. And I with the guys like Tom Phillips, Byron Saxton, they needed somebody who could dominate as that third person. Corey Grace is very good on Raw. He'll be very good on SmackDown. But I still think their options are open for somebody who could dominate. So that was the opening segment of SmackDown last night. So then they go to commercial, and then they come back. Carmella and Natty are inside the ring. Now, I have to say, Carmella looks surprisingly very good last night. Hopefully you guys felt the same way. Inside the ring, she got a lot better. On that microphone, she's getting a lot better. So now this is very important. Ellsworth climbs on top of the ring. He's holding the briefcase, of course, like any good boyfriend would. And then he stumbles the briefcase. The briefcase falls inside the ring. And, of course, the referee kind of thought for a second that maybe she was going to cash it in. She gets distracted, and Natalya goes for the pin. But once again, Carmella does a very good job last night. She's come a long way. I think fans are interested in her. I definitely am. Natty's still very vanilla, to be honest, as our champion. I'm still a big fan of Naomi. Let's go ahead and take a listen of how good Carmella has gotten. She's going to cut a promo right now on Ellsworth. It gets a nice little pop, some heat from the crowd.
You don't have to tell me you're sorry, James, because I know you're sorry. I know you're sorry. You're the sorriest excuse for a human being I have ever met. In fact, you're not even a human. Honestly, James, you're the sorriest excuse for a human being I have ever met. You think I need some genetic defect like you to succeed?
Ouch.
You really think I need that? How do you even work here, James? How are you still employed? You know what you are, James? You're a charity case. And your mother should have given you a way at birth. You are so lucky to even be in my presence. And now you stuck that pathetic lump where your chin's supposed to be in my business for the last time. And now, James, you and me, us, you know what, James? We're through!
So we think it's a breakup, but then, of course, we go backstage later on in the program, and something very interesting happens between Carmella and James Ellsworth. Okay, now we get to something that I was a fan of last night, and a lot of people weren't, and that was Dolph Ziggler. Now, Dolph Ziggler, obviously, we know the whole story of Dolph Ziggler for the last almost 10 years. We all remember the caddy. Okay, maybe you guys don't. Then, of course, the Spirit Squad. Then heel Ziggler comes out. And the days with Vicky Guerrero. And, of course, the legendary cash-in that he had 4 years ago. Unbelievable. One of the best moments I've ever experienced live. I've mentioned that on the show several times. So after we didn't see him on television for a while, remember, he disappeared. We were joking on the show, where is he? We know he got buried, but really, was he buried? Then he'd pop up here and there. We know he's doing comedy. We know he's doing television. We know he's trying to do movies and stuff like that, as he should be. He's getting a little bit older now. He's got to think of the future. Dolph Ziggler, in my opinion, if it was all over tomorrow, was one of the best in-ring performers of his generation. He really was. At least this is my opinion. And the beautiful thing is, everything is subjective. But that's my opinion on Dolph Ziggler. What's frustrating is, and it's the same situation with someone, say, for example, like Cesaro. We all love Cesaro. I don't think people hate Cesaro. People love when he's in a match. You know you're getting an A quality. wrestling match with Cesaro. And the same with Ziggler. But then there's the gimmick aspect, the character aspect. Did he really find his niche after the whole Money in the Bank cash-in, which was 40 years ago? There were moments where he was a heel. There's moments where he was a face. There was moments where people didn't care, which, ouch. You're listening to the Wrestling Morning Show. It's 844-627-3352. Chime in. Call me. Text me. It's the same number, 844-627-3352. One of the easiest ways to listen, in my opinion, download the app. Download the app. Also subscribe in iTunes when this becomes into podcast form after the show goes off the air. We have our own app. Very simple, very easy. Always have it on your phone. Doesn't take up a lot of space. And more importantly, very easy when you're on the go. Now, getting back to Ziggler. Okay, last night, they called this the re-debut. And what he's been doing the last 2 weeks, well, simply just pretty much mocking, shooting, whatever you want to call it, about certain gimmicks and how it gets over. You also got to realize there's also speculation his contract is up very soon. If somebody's contract is up very soon, they're not getting too much TV time. They're not really incorporating the story. Now, he's getting TV time, but doesn't really have a feud. Yeah, Ziggler's a frustrating character. He really is a frustrating character for a lot of the fans out there because we want the best for him. We root for him. And there's no secret, his momentum has really kind of dipped in the last couple of years. But let's go and listen to the re-debut of Dolph Ziggler last night. I would say for some it was anticipated.
Break, we're going to see the re-debut of Dolph Ziggler. Not seeing much difference here. Graves, what do you think?
I was expecting a new and improved Ziggler, but let's wait and see.
All of you here tonight, and the rest of the WWE universe, you have no appreciation for what I can do in that ring. No. You'd rather sit here on your hands. You'd rather sit here unsatisfied with the greatest performer in WWE history right here in front of your face. Shame on all of you. You don't want me. You'd rather just have some dumb gimmick.
How was that for a re-debut, Byron?
Oh, quite riveting, I suppose.
So he leaves us, and now we hear John's music hit. By the way, they're in South Dakota. This is actually kind of funny.
We're talking Smackdown Live, baby! Buy this, buy it! That didn't work for you? No, you saw through it? I got some for you. Love nostalgia, right? Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, some of his best lines when he was making those spot appearances on Total Divas when he'd make fun of John Cena. And John Cena's run and walk, and he was about to do it and didn't. So now he comes out as Macho. Brings out appears to be a local girl. So pretty much what he's talked about, bring out a hot girl to the ring. Was making fun of Cena backstage, of course, last week.
No, you're not buying it? Usually bunch of crap. Not tonight. That's a shame. You know what? This isn't working. I'm sorry. Take this row back. You're not needed here. Thank you. This isn't working. No. No. Listen, I know exactly what you want and what you deserve. Hit the lights.
Okay, so this might have jumped the shark in this segment right now. By the way, this is the best entrance in all of wrestling. Go ahead.
Guys, Dolph Omi may have some legs to it. Speak for yourself.
Okay, gets good reaction. A boo.
So this is what it's come to, huh? Dumbass hand gestures, dancing like an idiot, lasers, costumes. That's what you want, huh? Anyone could do what I just did. Anybody. But no one can do what I do in that ring.
He has a point.
But you couldn't care less, right? You couldn't care less, right? Well, guess what? I don't give a damn about you either. You all make me sick.
All right, so that's the re-debut of Dolph Ziggler. And I applauded this on Twitter last night. Everyone knocked it. People were just knocking it right and left. Okay, let's break this down. And this is probably, there are a lot of great things that happened last night on SmackDown. Okay, a lot of good things happened last night on SmackDown. I'm not trying to oversell that factor. But let's dissect Dolph Ziggler last night. Essentially, obviously making fun of the gimmicks and making fun of what works and how it's never really worked for Ziggler. And all he did for the last 8 to 10 years is be a wrestler. He was a wrestler, put his body on the line. We know about the overselling and all the dramatic bumps that he's taken. He's had a couple different concussions along the career. But he's a wrestler. That's what he's trying to say. And he needs to continue to do this. I mean, I like this. I was like alone on Twitter this entire time saying, I think this could be brilliant. It's the meaner Ziggler. It's the heel Ziggler. This is a man. The man in college, when you're not allowed to have intro music, would play My Time by Triple H as he would come out. The man grew up as a massive fan of not only wrestling, but of heels in wrestling. Heel Ziggler is his handle on Twitter. I think this is the right direction for him. I really do. Continue with the disgust of the gimmicks. Continue with the disgust of people who are not as talented inside the ring getting over. Continue with that, and he'll break through. And, of course, he'll back it up inside the ring. His mantra's really been the same. He's a show-off. He's excellent inside that ring. Now, when he says he's one of the best in-ring performers of all time, that's, of course, opinionated, subjective. But is he one of the best in-ring performers of this generation, the last 5 to 8 years? Absolutely. Absolutely. When there's that conversation, we'll probably say AJ Styles. But definitely in the top 3 or 4, I'd put Dolph Ziggler up there. He's never been able to connect with the great in-ring ability, with the right gimmick, with the right moments. There was twice in his career. Obviously, when he won the Money in the Bank briefcase, when he cashed in, that whole run with Del Rio, instantly becoming a face. And before that, if you remember, actually when he was running with Vicky Guerrero, she was phenomenal for him, where every hair on his head was bleach blonde, and it was smug. And that bought him some time to really get comfortable on the microphone, on the gimmick. I remember vividly when he debuted. It took me a second to realize this was Nikki from the Spirit Squad. And what a smart choice, because he could have stayed up as Nikki, as a solo performer, but he decided, let me go down, let me rebrand, let me come back up. He's a smart cookie, man, and I hope finally, especially now that he's getting older, that maybe he's on to something. But, man, people just knocked it and bashed it last night on Twitter. I enjoyed it, man. And I wish him the best, too. Okay, so we have finally our second match, Sami Zayn, Aiden English. Talk about drawing heat with Aiden English and singing. It was quick. It was weird. It was a squash of Sami. Well, then after the match, Aiden tries to finish his song, and then Sami attacks him. There's something there with this whole Aiden English singing and just drawing massive amount of natural heat. Kind of has a Kermit the Frog type voice. So after the aftermath of Shane O'Mac, so New Day's there trying to cheer up Daniel Bryan, but he has an announcement. Okay. Now, by all indications, we knew who it's from. I mean, how many people are higher than Daniel Bryan when it comes to this entire gimmick? Really, Shane O'Mac. Now, who trumps Shane O'Mac? That's right. Vincent Kennedy McMahon. I would have liked to see the Usos and the New Day continue somewhat of their feud last night, but of course they were backstage. Okay. Maybe give us some time to rest, especially on the Xavier front. Let's take you back. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 9:29. We're 30 minutes into the program. If you want to join the conversation, it's 844-627-3352. Now, we have our own app for the Wrestling Morning Show available on iTunes and Google Play. When this show concludes, for some of the people who don't have time to listen live, maybe they're sleeping right now, maybe they're just getting in if they're on the West Coast. For the people across the pond, you're probably winding your day down at this point. It's 3 o'clock or so, 3:30. Much love and a big shout out to everybody in the UK and, of course, Canada. Not only follow us on Twitter, but listen to the show. And your kind words and your direct messages. Not that they're all kind. And, of course, everybody here in the good old USA. Let's not forget, even though it's been a week thus far, and a little bit longer, actually, but everybody is still affected by the hurricanes and everybody down in Texas and Louisiana. And now people in the Florida Keys with Hurricane Irma. So we wish them the best. And hopefully this show and the show that we all love, professional wrestling, hopefully this could entertain you during a tough time. Okay, so now Daniel Bryan has that look on his face. We've seen that look so many times. He has to now come into the ring. And he's got a major announcement from somebody who called him backstage. Here we go.
Right now, I need Shane McMahon to come down to the ring. Shane, I'm not sure if you're still back there, but if you are, I need to talk to you. Please come down to the ring. Shane, What were you thinking?
Things obviously got a little out of control.
Do you remember, it was about a year ago, The Miz went on Talking Smack and he berated me and he tore into me about how I would never wrestle again. It was shortly after I retired. And every week he kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And do you know how many times I thought, you know what, screw WWE, screw this job, I'm gonna headbutt this jerk right in the face. But I didn't, because you told me, as the general manager of Smackdown Live, I had to put the WWE first, I had to put the fans first, and I had to put our employees first. So every week, I restrained myself. I kept myself from punching him right in the face. And I did what was best for this company and for this show. Shane, you can't assault our employees or our superstars. We can't run Smackdown Live like that.
You're right. And I know I put you in a tough spot, and I take full responsibility for my actions. I should not have put my hands on Kevin Owens. But you have to understand this. When someone talks about my family like that, I go into a blind rage. And when they cross that line, there is no coming back. You yourself, Daniel, are now a father. Imagine if the shoe was on the other foot.
Don't throw that in my face. You don't understand. Do you know the problems that we're in legally right now? Not just you, the entire WWE. Kevin Owens is a vindictive man. He is going to sue every member of your family. Not that I care about that, but I care about the jobs of the people in the back. That's how they feed their families.
I do too. I will take care of this. I will talk to Kevin Owens and I will smooth this over.
If you're just joining us, it's 9:35 Eastern.
It's too late for that.
It's the Wrestling Morning Show, and you're listening to Daniel Bryan about to make an announcement.
Just before I came out here, it was from your father. Shane, effective immediately, per the chairman of the board and the CEO of the WWE, I'm sorry, man. You're indefinitely suspended.
Okay, so here we go. Tables are set. It's most likely, obviously, yes, he's suspended. We'll see Vince come out next week. We're really excited for that. And, of course, he'll probably set up a situation with Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon. This was just a bad secret. We knew this was going to happen at Hell in a Cell. And we're hoping it's going to be a Hell in a Cell match. I think Shane O'Mac is probably excited to work with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, to me, is going to be somebody who is the future for the next 5 years, no matter what brand he's on. He can go inside the ring, and he's as good as anybody on that microphone. English is his second language. That's what's impressive. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Wrestling Morning Show. We're continuing our recap of SmackDown from last night from South Dakota. What we're going to do right now, we're going to take a small little break. And our commercials are not very long, so you guys know if you guys listen to the program. But what I want you guys to do is dial the show. Call or text 844-627-3352. That's 844-627-3352. We got a lot of show coming up, and we're also going to open up the merch bag. Trying to give out some prizes, some giveaways, even some tickets to the fans of the show. It's Mardel. We'll be right back.
The Wrestling Morning Show with Mardel, live on Broadcast Row. Now back to the Wrestling Morning Show.
Ah, yes. Bad Street USA. Why not? I'm playing this music bad because I want to go back real quick. After we got through the suspension, one thing that occurred last night, if you're just joining us, welcome to the Wrestling Morning Show. One thing that occurred last night, even though I love when these guys face off against each other, either on the microphone, either inside the ring, didn't happen, but they were backstage. And of course, one of the stipulations from 2 weeks ago was for the rematch, the Usos would choose the exact stipulation for their rematch. Let's just take a listen to the Usos.
Jimmy, Jay, thanks for coming. It's time for you guys to announce the stipulation for next week's SmackDown Tag Team Championship match against the New Day.
You're damn straight it is, Oos. Next week, SmackDown Live in Las Vegas. Hey, Sin City, street fight!
All right. Las Vegas. Well, may the odds forever be in our favor.
Okay. It looks like we're the dealers, and the Usos about to bust. Yeah. No? Yeah.
Okay, that was horrible, but it's going to be straight. Nobody cared, by the way. There was no reaction from the crowd. South Dakota really didn't care. By the way, New Day, I think, was in New Day underwear. I cannot confirm that, but I think they were in underwear backstage as they're trying to cheer up Daniel Bryan from before. So to catch you up, if you're just joining us, it's 9:41 Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully you listen to the program. We talked about the opening with Kevin Owens, of course, getting a beatdown from Shane O'Mac, Carmella and Natty. A lot of heat with Carmella and Ellsworth. I think it was just a summer romance for these guys, but something comes up very soon. The re-debut of Ziggler. I thought it was brilliant. I think I know the direction he's going in. I'm not 100%. Sammy and Aiden English, okay. And, of course, we just heard from New Day. But right before we left for a commercial, Daniel Bryan announces that Vince McMahon will be on SmackDown. Somebody on Twitter actually mentioned, and I thought it was very funny, this will now be the second time that Vince has actually watched SmackDown. Which that's not true. Of course, he's backstage every single night. I hope he is. Okay, we're moving right along. I love when this guy's on. By the way, did you check out the suit last night? I know I'm overdoing it, but it is the Maharaja.
WWE champion, Jinder Mahal.
Mr. Over 100 Days. Oh, look at that reception.
Who would you rather face, Randy Orton or Shinsuke Nakamura?
Renee, it really doesn't matter. I've already beaten Randy Orton multiple times and proven that I am better than him. And the same goes for this world-renowned artist, Shinsuke Nakamura. All the hype, all the social media attention didn't matter when SmackDown Live's resident rock star was face-to-face with the modern-day Maharaja. There is a reason why the New York Times is writing about me. I represent Asia much better than Shinsuke Nakamura ever could. I represent the greatest nation on earth, India. For over 100 days, I have proven that I'm the greatest WWE champion of all time. I will be watching tonight's main event very closely, just like the rest of the WWE universe. So what will it be? Randy Orton's RKO or Shinsuke Nakamura's Kinshasa? May the better man win, and may that man fall to the modern day Maharaja. I will now speak to my people in my language of Punjabi. Sanu koi fark nahi pama Randy Orton hove, pama Shinsuke Nakamura hove.
I love when he speaks in Punjabi and to his Indian friends that majority are just English terms. Just the Maharaja. I'm loving this momentum. the entire crazy summer that was the WWE really was, the tone was set. Jinder Mahal, champion. Even before he became champion, Jinder Mahal has a chance to be the champion. I enjoyed most of this, to be honest with you, on SmackDown. It's 2 hours. It goes by quick, regardless of what you guys think when it comes to this. So now we go on to only the third match, and it's Baron Corbin versus Ty Dillinger. Kind of a very quiet crowd. They go to commercial. They come right back. And Ty Dillinger, he's so talented. He's actually very good on the mic, and no one gives him enough credit for being that good on the microphone. And the guy could go in the ring. There's no doubt about it. And, of course, Baron Corbin. There's people out on Twitter who just, they love Baron Corbin, yes. No, now, granted, what I just said, the majority hates Baron Corbin. There are a lot of people out there who love him. He's getting over with somebody. All indications obviously point, bad indicating, but it is what it is. It's going to be Corbin, obviously, and AJ in Hell in the Cell. Now, next week, AJ extends the hand to Ty and says, you know what, you get your opportunity next week. And I hope, now AJ obviously is going to win. That's, no secret. I don't think they're going to do a major upset. But I do hope it goes a long time. And I think if anybody could showcase Ty Dillinger's talents, obviously it's AJ Styles. Now, last week, they had a match. It was a little bit quick. And it was over. Some great combinations, though. There's a little tension on there, but it's going to be a nice rematch, and I hope he goes good 20 minutes. There's nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with that. Obviously, Baron Corbin was at ringside last week during their match, causing some problems and distractions for certain people. So I'm hoping this coming week that Ty does look good, because he deserves it. Now we go to the main event. It's Nakamura and Randy. One of the first tweets I put out was, please, we cannot take any more of the Randy Jinder. I can't. I love Randy Orton. I'm loving what they're doing with Jinder. I love Nakamura. I mean, there's no way, right? There's no way that, there's no way, right? Randy's going to win? No, come on. Right? All right, but luckily enough, Nakamura wins. It was actually a very good match. A very good match. And I was excited about it. So, we all knew this, by the way, going in. Nakamura was going to win. So, now we're going to have Nakamura versus Jinder Mahal. And much deserved to Nakamura. I do believe that the shock and awe aspect of Nakamura, everyone thought Nakamura was going to win at SummerSlam. I did not. For weeks, I mentioned Jinder was going to retain. Not so much because I believe in Jinder and this whole momentum, but when they spend all that money, all this time, and not to mention they've gotten, for the most part, positive publicity. Positive publicity. They're not going to let him drop it. Would he drop it in Hell in a Cell? He could. Because after Hell in a Cell, we start moving toward Royal Rumble and then the implications for Mania. It was a very good match between these guys. Nakamura prevails. Crowd was actually into it. Even though I think for the most part, if you were a wrestling fan in the crowd, you knew Nakamura was going to win. The very end, instead of fading to black or going to some USA Network show, they go to Daniel Bryan. And Daniel mentions Vince McMahon will be on SmackDown. And that's how the show ends. Pretty solid show. Join the conversation. I'm curious what you guys think. You could call me or text me. You don't want to talk to me? That's fine. You could text 844-627-3352. Follow us on Twitter at Live Morning Show. One thing I do want to play right now, this was kind of very surprising as we continue on with something we truly don't care about, which was maybe Ellsworth and Carmella. A very odd couple. And I have to say, Carmella is getting a lot better inside that ring, on that microphone. And now, the Danny and Sandy of SmackDown. Here we go.
Just hear me out, please. Just hear me out. I know you despise me right now, and you should. I messed everything up out there again, and you're right. I am a freak, and I am subhuman, and I probably belong in a zoo. But Carmella, please, I'm begging you, just give me another chance, and I'll keep my mouth shut. I won't get in your way anymore. Listen, I'm begging you. I'll do anything you want. Anything. Just get...
From now on, we're doing things my way.
Wow. Okay, so Carmella plants a kiss on James Ellsworth. Wow. So they're back. I think they can last. I really do. I think they have a future together. I'm not just saying that. Anyway, but I'll tell you what, he takes a hard slap from Carmella. So I might be joining this Carmella bandwagon. I don't think there's a lot of people in it, but, I'll fuel it up. We'll go. 10 minutes to the hour. We got a lot of show coming up on the next hour. We didn't see Fashion Files last night. Very upset with that. As I mentioned, I would have loved to see the Usos and New Day inside the ring. They always bring excitement. If they weren't wrestling, at least, those guys battling through words. Yeah, like a poetry slam. Bobby Roode. We're going to discuss Bobby Roode more detailed in that second hour and kind of give you my thoughts on Bobby Roode. Little upset. I don't know. Little upset. I made some comments last night to people that I trusted when it comes to wrestling, kind of get their own views and opinions on Bobby Roode. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Bobby Roode. I'm getting a little upset with, obviously we'll save the majority of this later on, but I don't know. I could see now, Bobby Roode's 40 years old. I don't think there's time to marinate. And yeah, he's only been up for 3 weeks. That's 3 long weeks, especially when there's only been a few things that were accomplished last night on SmackDown. And easily could have been used. I don't know. I don't have the book. I don't know. My name's not McMahon or Levesque. So I really don't know what's going on. A little frustrated with that. We're going to take some of the open forum questions. You guys could obviously send us questions via the Twitter at Live Morning Show, hashtag Wrestling Morning Show, the website, thewrestlingmorningshow.com, and of course, download the app in iTunes and Google Play. We're going to take a small break coming up, and we get back, well, we'll have more show for you. I appreciate you guys listening thus far, and hopefully we'll continue very soon after this small break.
The Wrestling Morning Show with Mardel, live on Broadcast Row.
If you're just joining us, it's 10:17. We've been recapping the very beginning of the program. Thank you for listening. The number is 844-627-3352. That's 844-627-3352. You can call or text, the same number. We ran through SmackDown. We talked about some of the highlights, the lowlights of last night. And I mentioned this again, as everyone continues to knock Dolph Ziggler. I was a fan of it. We're getting backlash. One other thing, too, though. Am I growing impatient? And I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and listen to Renee Young. She actually has an interview with Ziggler.
Oh, hey, Renee. Hi. What? Is it cool if I talk? Is it cool if I'm here with you? Sure. I'm sure you're probably waiting for Naomi or Cena. He's a free agent. He can show up anywhere. Is that what you're looking for? Is it Randy Orton? Oh, get the words from the Vipers. He slithers by. Is that what you want? Some big stars that come by. Anybody with some kind of dumb gimmick. So they can just try and sell you a T-shirt or tell you how great they are? Is that what you're looking for?
No, I'm trying to do...
Renee, can I talk for 1 minute?
Okay, well, look, while you're here...
Renee, please. Let me have my say for once.
Okay. While you're here, would you like to discuss your re-debut that we saw here tonight for SmackDown Live?
As he now, obviously, you couldn't see this because you're listening to it, but I'm going to post this on Twitter. It was actually very funny. He didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. He simply just spit out his gum, and that was it. Okay, so that was Dolph backstage. Now we're going to go back. We're talking about Bobby Roode. We have seen this. Let's look at the roster of people from NXT. Finn Balor, took him a while, but yes, of course, the payoff was being the Universal Champion, and of course, got hurt, unfortunately. Nakamura, the prime example. Nakamura was a tough sell with the basic audience. And we're not talking about, obviously, the smart wrestling fans out there who watched Nakamura for years in Japan, who are excited, who've cheered him on. The casual fan who only watches SmackDown and Raw. Is Bobby Roode falling into line to that same category? I don't know. I tell you what, somebody who could shed some light on this. He's one of our favorite people, and he's on hold right now, and we're going to bring him on. It's time for the Code Break.
It's the Code Break with Brent Coder.
Mr. Coder, good morning to you.
What's up, Mardel? Good morning to you, brother.
Well, good morning. Listen, a couple things we got to jump right in. I go out of my way last night on Twitter. Go out of my way to praise Dolph Ziggler. I love the direction he's going in. It's a shoot. It's making fun of everybody. He's getting away with it. He really has hit rock bottom in his character, I think in probably real life, and of course, with the Dolph Ziggler gimmick. And he's got nothing to lose. He's making fun of everybody. And he's actually saying some truth where this is all you care about are these gimmicks. And really, he's the best performer inside the ring. We've talked about my love for Ziggler. I thought it was brilliant. Then I'm on Twitter. People are just embarrassed. They're knocking him. They're disgusted by it. Illuminate me, Mr. Coder. Give me your honest opinion on Ziggler last night and this direction with Dolph Ziggler.
Well, I don't know, man. I actually thought the segment was kind of lame myself. If it was meant to be funny, it wasn't that funny. Let's face it. It was like, C- segment for the show.
I don't think Coder, I don't think the intent was to be funny. I think he was actually taking a strong message on that. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Continue.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it was a little over the top. Whatever. It was a little drawn out. It was not good. It wasn't a great segment. I like where the angle was going, or where I thought it was going, where he might be this like gimmick killer type of guy, where he goes after guys with cheesy gimmicks. Maybe he goes after Ty Dillinger or something. Whatever it is. But has a thing against people with these gimmicks that get them over. If it's going in that direction, then I'm on board. But this, it was billed as his re-debut, but basically he's just going to be himself and bitch about how everybody else gets over with a gimmick. And so, for me, I don't know. I think there could be a stronger angle here if he really took a, vicious, intense sort of, dislike of anybody with gimmicks and went after them. I think that's a way stronger angle than just making fun of people or trying to make fun of them in an unfunny way, to put yourself over as a good in-ring performer. I don't think that's ultimately going to do anything for him. It's going to put him back right where he was. We know he's good in the ring. I would have thought it was even funnier if they would have gone with the payoff being he really does come out with a chick that glows in the dark and he wears a robe and does all that. And instead it was just more of a buildup over the last couple of weeks just for him to come out and do sort of a cheesy segment that wasn't ultimately that funny. So hopefully there's more coming on this. I hope we don't get another week of him, going in the back and changing clothes and coming out and do more gimmicks. He made his point last night. So let's take it somewhere, become the gimmick killer, and start, beating people's ass that have cheesy gimmicks. I would love that. I think that's a great angle. It's kind of like the legend killer that, Randy Orton used to be. And then all these guys with cheesy gimmicks are put on notice. And Ziggler comes after them, whether that's New Day or Ty Dillinger or anybody with, a gimmick that is over, he ruins it for the fans. I could get on board with all of that. I think that would be great for him. I think it'd be great for wrestling. I think like if he just showed up and did what he wants, sort of like Orton did for a while to these folks, it would be exciting and an interesting angle. But I'm not really sure after last night's segment where this even goes.
Well, I think it continues, and he continues to pound the fact that after all these years of him putting his body on the line, after some incredible matches, after actually being a phenomenal in-ring performer, which he is, none of this matters. None of this matters. It's been a waste of 10 years. He's put his body on the line. He's gone above and beyond. It doesn't matter. And he's pissed. And now he's hit rock bottom. And he's got nothing to lose by shooting on these people, making fun of their gimmicks, and continuing to hammer into people's minds that he is a wrestler. And I think it's going to work. Okay, as you know, if anybody listens to the show, and Coder especially, when I say something, I've been correct 12% of the time. So I think the odds may not be in my favor, but I like this thus far. Let's move on to the other big topic from last night. We knew this was going to happen, but Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon, a couple things. First of all, I tweeted out he had a Roman moment during his promo. Very awkward. And he lost his train of thought. We've kind of seen it a lot since Shane actually came back over a year ago. If it was anybody else besides Shane McMahon, Kevin Owens would have demolished him on that microphone for screwing up his promo. He didn't, though. Actually, as a matter of fact, if you go back, he's actually trying to lead him back on course. Now, of course, he attacks Kevin Owens. Finally, we got 30 days until Hell in the Cell, and now the storyline unravels. He gets suspended. Now we know Vince McMahon's coming next week. Okay, good. Let's see how far we could take this. I really do believe what Vince says could set the tone, and we could start caring about Hell in the Cell. Give me your thoughts about Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon, the suspension, and, of course, the great Vince McMahon coming back next week.
I love it, man. I thought it was great. I loved, Kevin's promo last night, and I love sort of where this angle's going, having some fun with it. I liked it that, they made all this drama of Shane getting suspended. What I really like the most out of last night, and I hope they move forward with, because I think it could be fun, is Kevin Owens suing Vince McMahon, suing his whole family, suing WWE, and, taking control of the show. So it became the Kevin Owens show for a few weeks or something like that.
Nice.
So, obviously legally that would never happen, but, as an angle, you can see we have Vince coming out next week. Kevin Owens shows up with his lawyers. Vince agrees to let him take over the show for the next month leading up, and Kevin gets to decide what happens if he drops his lawsuit, or they come to some kind of a arrangement to avoid, this lawsuit. I think it'd be an interesting angle and would be fun to have Kevin Owens as your commissioner for the next, 3-4 weeks leading up into the next pay-per-view. I hope that's where this is going, because that was the most interesting thing that came out of last night, the suspension. Obviously, there's going to be more to come on that. But I'm hoping to see Kevin come out with his lawyers and this be a situation where he actually gets to take over the show for a while. That would really, really elevate him as the top heel over there and create a unique angle for Smackdown that I think could be fun over the next few weeks.
Well, next week, obviously, in Sin City, Las Vegas. Hopefully, it's going to be a good show. I think it will be. I think any direction they go to, of course, they got to lead up to Hell in the Cell, of having a true Hell in the Cell at Hell in the Cell. So we're going to find out what's going on with that. I enjoy it. Kevin Owens, everything he does, I enjoy. I know you're a huge Kevin Owens fan, so this must be nice. And I have to remind everybody, yes, English is his second language, Kevin Owens, which blows my mind. He's as good as anybody on that microphone. I tell you what, can I just say, is Carmella getting better? Was she getting better on that mic, better in that ring? And that lucky son of a bitch, Ellsworth, gets to make out with her last night backstage? I'm kind of enjoying this. I mean, you know what? For such a vanilla champion as Natty, which is much deserved, don't get me wrong, she's paid her dues and waited and waited and waited. I'm kind of enjoying this Carmella run with Ellsworth. It's definitely interesting. Any quick thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, her promo last night was okay. She messed up at one point and repeated herself and forgot what she was going to say, but she came back to it and, got through the segment and did a pretty good promo in the end on Ellsworth. Yeah, and then then he gets to kiss her and then he gets slapped. And one of my favorite lines from that, Corey Graves was like, he's like, kind of wishing I was Ellsworth right now, but I'm not sure, or something like that. After the slap, and good stuff from her. I think she's one of the most entertaining women on the show. And moving forward, I expect her to be part of, the main event storyline for months to come, obviously with the case, and, her story with Ellsworth. So good for her, and looking forward to see where that goes.
Well, I tell you what, it was, I tweeted this out. I mentioned everybody. I love Randy Orton. I really do. I mean, obviously, when you essentially watch somebody grow up in front of your eyes, really, we all remember when he debuted up until now. We're talking 15 years here. And there was moments when he first started, I thought it was really cool. He was part of Evolution, and of course, that whole thing just evolved. And now he's reigning. I mean, he's a legend. The Legend Killer has become a legend, without a doubt. Having said that, I don't think I could stomach any more Randy Orton Jinder Mahal matches. I love the momentum of Jinder Mahal. His suit last night, by the way, priceless. And now, not only is he speaking for India, but the entire continent of Asia. We all kind of knew Nakamura was going to go over last night. And I tell you what, for a match, I think, obviously Randy has his own pace, and sometimes he can get boring, and sometimes he can get slow, and sometimes Nakamura doesn't have that kind of chemistry with certain people. But it was actually a pretty decent match last night, and believable that Randy had a chance. Are you excited for Nakamura and Jinder? That's my question to you. And I'm not going to make a prediction, but I think this may be the time where we actually see the Maharaja fall.
Yeah, I thought last night's match was a lot better than I expected. I expected, sort of like you laid out there, that we were going to see sort of a slow match, some rest holds. Randy has this sort of slow, methodical style to his matches, and same with Nakamura. He's while he has big burst of energy, a lot of times we see a lot of rest holds to build up to a finish with Nakamura. So I was really expecting that last night, and what we got was, I thought, an excellent match. I thought it was great.
It was pretty good.
Very entertained by the match. The crowd was totally into it, and a lot of Randy fans there, which you don't hear a lot of times, especially with Nakamura in the ring with him. He got
especially in South Dakota, yeah.
Yeah, maybe just as many cheers as Nakamura. So that was a surprise to me to see. And I thought it was a great match. I really thought Nakamura would end up going over here. We've seen Jinder and Randy too many times. And I thought the match with the Maharaja was great the last time they faced off. And looking forward to seeing it again. And I think you're right. I think we're going to see Nakamura actually get the win and go on a run here with the title.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I figured, and I gave my reasons several times why Jinder and Brock were going to retain. I thought it was best for business at the time. Okay, I hate to say that, but let's talk about Baron Corbin. I know it makes you sick when we talk about Baron Corbin. We're going to talk about Baron Corbin right now. Poor Ty Dillinger. He gets an opportunity next week to face AJ. Hopefully the match goes long, and everyone can see what Ty Dillinger's about. I have a funny feeling Corbin's big reward will be taking place at Hell in the Cell. And it's unfortunate. I think more importantly, this kind of frees up AJ at some point. Now, if we're right, Nakamura continues and becomes the champion, that frees up AJ Styles. I thought that would be WrestleMania worthy. But have we learned nothing this summer? It's about the now. And I'm not saying, I'm just talking out loud, talking to you, talking to the people listening, but that's also a possibility. Is this Corbin's time next month versus AJ Styles?
I mean, I hope not.
Yeah.
I'm just not a fan. I don't think it's been deserved. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to see where you're going with that. AJ versus Nakamura for the title. You know, we saw a little bit of that at Money in the Bank. You know, they kind of set up between the latter, actually. You know, so I would love to see that, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Corbin. I mean, if you notice, Corbin came out to nothing last night. Not
Oh my
cheers,
God.
not boos. Absolutely crickets. No one cares. No one cares. I don't care.
Listen, I got to stop you. I got to remind you and tell you this. I was going to tweet this out, but I didn't want to be that guy who just hates on everybody. I didn't want to do that. But I swear to you, I thought my remote was on mute. I'm dead serious. I'm not trying to, this is not a gimmick. I'm not trying to put myself over. I'm being dead serious. I thought my remote, sometimes on commercials, I put it on mute. I thought it was on mute when they came back and it was crickets. Go ahead. I'm being serious. I'm being serious. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's what I mean. He's the least over guy on the roster, at least on SmackDown. He's not over in any way. They don't hate him. They don't love him. They don't care, and they don't even want to see him. I mean, that's the kind of reaction you got. It was a pretty hot crowd most of the night. We were just talking about how they got into Randy Orton, and you know, so I mean, I was even like, wow, you know, I didn't expect him to get a huge reaction. I don't know that he's gotten one of those in a long time, but no reaction is the worst thing that you can get.
Right.
You know, so I almost felt bad for the guy. You know, I'm not a fan of either one of these guys. I know you like Ty Dillinger. I just think he's cheesy. He's got, you know, he's the gimmick guy with the 10. It's annoying to me and kind of, you know, just not a big fan of the guy. So this match didn't do much for me. I don't know where Corbin goes from here. Obviously, it looks like he's headed for a feud with AJ over the title. Whether he gets the title or not is to be determined. But I mean, man, after being buried like he has over the past month, you know, he needs it. He needs something. He needs to get some cheers and boo. He needs to get cheers or boos or something, some sort of reaction or both.
Much like Cena is a benchmark. If you could beat Cena, that is a milestone. I think AJ is now that guy on SmackDown. And I think, my own opinion, I'm not making a prediction. I'm thinking, and I'm not only thinking for Hell in the Cell, but I'm thinking about the future. First of all, to correct you, Ty Dillinger is very good inside that ring. He's also very good on the microphone, just not have opportunities to really showcase that. Another NXT guy who gets lost in the shuffle. I think Corbin goes over because people love AJ. When you beat someone like AJ, it's just automatic heat. And, you know, this is also something that could carry AJ. Unfortunately, this rivalry could carry them till the end of the year, at least till the beginning of or second week of December when they have a pay-per-view. And then, of course, AJ never retains, and then he's literally not attached to anything that could free him up for anything, for Royal Rumble or WrestleMania. I think that could be a direction they go with. That's why I think Corbin goes over. He beat AJ Styles. So it's going to be, Hell in a Cell is going to be very good. I think No Mercy, I'm excited about that. We're not going to talk about that. One big topic. This is probably the last big topic we talk about, because I think we covered pretty much everything on SmackDown, which had its moments, but a little uneventful. Bobby Roode. Is he going to be another NXT guy that gets lost in the shuffle? As much as Nakamura was over in NXT, as much as people love Nakamura, he was an awkward 6 months with Nakamura. Very awkward. Obviously, I think the big payoff was Money in the Bank, which happened in the summer. I think that's when he became a superstar, when he came back after getting the beatdown. Even when Finn Balor debuted, wasn't much for him. Eventually went on to be Universal Champion, the first ever. And we see other NXT guys just get lost in the shuffle. Bobby Roode's 40 years old. So, I mean, what are they waiting? Are they waiting for someone to free up, to return, to kind of line him up against? Because now it's becoming just too gimmicky. We're forgetting he's a great wrestler. We're forgetting, and we also don't know, what is he? Is he a heel? Is he a face? Is he a tweener? Give me your thoughts right now, what is he going to be lost in the shuffle? What direction are we going in with Bobby Roode? Because I'm clueless at this point. I'm afraid. And someone actually responded to me last night on Twitter by saying, be patient, man. Be patient. And I'm like, I've seen NXT guys get lost in the shuffle. There's not a lot of time for Bobby Roode. Okay, not that 40 by no means is old. Oh, wait a minute. Yes. If you are an NFL player, if you're an NBA player, if you're any type of athlete, 40 is relatively old. So go ahead. Give me any thoughts you have on Bobby Roode.
Man, I do agree. I think this is he's going to end up getting lost in the shuffle with the way they've got things going now. I would have loved to seen him come in and eventually and just like immediately insert himself into the main event picture. Get involved in a match for the title. Get involved. I'd rather see him have a match with Jinder and really elevate himself from the very beginning, whether it was a non-title match or whatever. But the sort of slow build for these guys, I don't know if that always works. I understand like the casual fan doesn't necessarily know who Bobby Roode is. Guys like you and I do, and all the marks know who he is. But for the casual fan, they try this slow build with guys. We saw the promo video last night highlighting some of his career at NXT, and but didn't really talk a lot about his history outside of NXT. They've kind of kept it to a short history, so to speak. And, I would have liked to seen his entire history as former champion of TNA and, really sell him as a potential champion on SmackDown. So I don't feel like the piece did him anything but sell his gimmick, which is unfortunate. And so far, his segments or matches have done nothing but sell his gimmick, really. And to your point, he hasn't sold them. He hasn't been sold as a great wrestler.
No.
And that's what's missing. And a great, guy on the microphone, because we just haven't seen it. Is he a face? Is he a heel? I mean, this is a really slow build, and I think a mistake. He should have immediately been injected into a feud with somebody at the top of the card in a title match. And really, the fans will get on board. Even if they don't know who he is right away, they know he's a player when he gets involved in a match that AJ's in, or KO's in, if he's a face, or whatever the case. But this slow build of him just, having squash matches, watching little promo segments of him, is how he may get lost in the shuffle. So I hope we'll see him elevated sooner than later, and somehow get involved in a much bigger match, so that he can be on the stage that he needs to be on.
Well, you're absolutely right. And people are kind of forgetting how good of a wrestler he is. They're forgetting how good on the microphone he is. Right now, if you just started watching, if you watch SmackDown and you've never seen NXT, if you've never seen TNA, you're thinking there's a guy with an unbelievable song who's kind of stealing Ric Flair's gimmick of sorts, or trying to do a throwback of the 1980s. You have no idea who Bobby Roode is. I mean, he can't be over with the casual fan. Anybody who listens to this show or actually chimes in on Twitter, they know Bobby Roode. That makes up 15 to 20% on the least. You're catering to the 80% out there. So they've failed on that. But you know what? I think they start to realize that. And it's not like the roster's that deep. At least put them in the ring, show them off a little bit. I think it's a wasted opportunity, which is unfortunate. All right, it's that time of the show where we ask Coder, who you could follow at CodeRock874, or go to his site, CodeRockStreetwear.com. Check out some unbelievable merch on there. Some great merch for the upcoming fall season, by the way. All right, here's the first question I asked last night. Kind of a recycled question, as I'm not as big of a fan as you are of Kevin Owens, even though I'm a huge fan. I mean, you're a straight-up mark of Kevin Owens, which is great. Kevin Owens is so damn good, I said. Future of any brand for years to come. Curious, though, is Kevin Owens this era's CM Punk? This is a variation of a question I asked months ago. Your options are yes, no, KO is an original and not even close. So that's my question. The first question for you, Coder, is Kevin Owens this era's CM Punk?
Well, yes and no. He's certainly an original, but he has that kind of command of the microphone.
Right.
He's obviously great in the ring. He's going to be your top heel on either show or wherever you put him. He can excel in mid-card feuds and main event feuds just like CM Punk did, but they're very different guys, very different approaches on the microphone. So I would say he's an original versus yes.
Okay, 53% KO is an original, 25%. Not even close. All right, let's move on to the next Twitter poll question. Some of these poll questions are still up. All right, so this is where I get frustrated last night, and I had to ask this question. Gut reaction. What's your opinion on Bobby Roode's booking on SmackDown Live? There's your options now. Upset, waste of his talent. What? Roode is on SmackDown? When? Shocker, call up wasted, or gloriously embarrassing? I mean, this is definitely not a serious poll question.
Right now, I'm with shocker. You know, another call up wasted is what it appears to be. But hopefully that's not the case, and we'll see it develop. But that's where I'm at right now.
Well, 33% upset, waste of his talent. Second would be shocker, call up wasted. That's when one guy replies, dude, be patient. And I responded with, no, they wasted 6 months on Nakamura. They wasted everybody. You don't have a plan. Don't bring them up. Look at everybody getting lost in the shuffle. Apollo Crews, Ty Dillinger. Tyler Breeze took him 2 years to finally find Breezango, which, by the way, Fashion Files were missing last night. Yeah, that's it. So I have one last question. This was after SmackDown went off the air. It also cracks me up when I'm on Twitter because all the West Coast, they can't watch it live, from what I understand. I could be wrong on this, but yeah, West Coast actually starts to watch it. Across the pond starts to watch it a little bit later. Canada starts to watch it a little bit later. So I asked this question probably 30 minutes after SmackDown went off the air. And I think this is an important question. What has been the highlight from both shows this week? Your options are Cena versus Roman promo 2, Big Show versus Braun, Shane KO feud unravels, or Nakamura Orton match. Those are your 4 options. What was the one big highlight to come out of the past 2 shows? Unfortunately, there's only 4 options.
Wow. Yeah, some good ones. I mean, Cena and Reigns was certainly interesting, but not as good as their promo the week before.
True.
I love where this whole KO angle is going. And also, man, the Big Show and Braun match was great. Way better than expected. Man, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with Big Show versus Braun as an unexpected surprise this week. That was really a great match and really went to build Braun towards his match with Lesnar. So I'm going to go with the steel cage match.
Well, yeah, it was the biggest surprise of how good it was and how good Big Show and how athletic he's gotten now that he's kind of transformed himself. And, of course, Nakamura and Orton. But the polls are in. We still got 11 hours left. But right now, 37% Shane KO feud unravels, 25% Nakamura versus Orton, and tied for 3rd and 4th, or I guess tied for 3rd. Big Show versus Braun, Cena versus Roman, 19%. Interesting on the polls that we had. I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to the program, first and foremost, thank you for actually doing that. More importantly, we're going to have a very special No Mercy show, 100% live, that's going to take place. We're going to let you guys know about that. Some of you guys obviously listened to the SummerSlam special. That actually was pretty successful. So, Coder, I thank you very much. I know it's a big week coming up for you. Thank you very much for joining us on the program today, okay?
All right, brother. I'll talk to you next week, man.
Okay, have your phone on you, bud. All right, thank you. Thank you, Coder.
It's the Code Break with Brent Coder.
It's great to have Coder on the program, as always. Join him, Code Rock 874, on the Twitter. You guys want to follow us? It's the Wrestling Morning Show on Twitter. And, of course, the WrestlingMorningShow.com, where you get all your great information on there. We learned a lot this past week. Now, we talk about some of the highlights of the past week. Cena and Roman, we're starting to care. They have now overshadowed, in my opinion, Braun and Brock. We talked about how much Braun got over in that steel cage match, but how about Big Show? I mean, he's looking good against Big Cass. He's been more athletic. I think this is, I know we have a couple weeks left, but I guarantee you, almost guarantee you, Braun is probably going to get over against Brock. And of course, we got Shane and Kevin Owens now unraveling, and this is going to be exciting. Sadly enough, when it comes to some of the heroics, yes, Shane will be leading the fight, but Kevin Owens has to sell this to the masses, and he will do it because he's as good as anybody. He will sell it without a doubt, and hopefully, now that news has spread that Shane got suspended, all eyes will be on Smackdown next week in Las Vegas. We also know that it's going to be a street fight in Las Vegas. A very, very anticlimactic announcement. Backstage. Usos. New Day. I love this rivalry. I'm not sick of it yet, especially their promo work. And by the way, when they're inside the ring, they steal shows. We've seen that before. Nakamura goes on to face Jinder Mahal. As much as I love the Maharaja, and I've been a big fan of something different, this now is the time for Nakamura. I really do believe this will be the time. So even though it's not 100% confirmed, we're most likely going to see Shane O'Mac and Kevin Owens in Hell in a Cell, and then Nakamura, Nakamura, Jinder at Hell in a Cell for sure. We're most likely going to see Baron Corbin and AJ Styles, even though it's not confirmed, it's not on the card, it's not on wax. Other things to come out, John Cena, of course, Roman Reigns, loving that. Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt, that has to be coming to blows at least next week. Only got a couple weeks until No Mercy. Earlier in the week, I explained I was not very happy with the fact that Nia and Emma, now they're making this a fatal four-way. Not that I was that excited for Alexa versus Sasha. I'm still holding out hope, and I think what they're doing is killing some time before we finally see Nia Jax versus Alexa. Behind the curtain, they're friends. They really are. It's often documented they are friends. And I love the direction that Alexa was going, using Nia Jax. I've explained this in the past. Nia Jax is somebody different. They could also use her perfectly in some of the marketing. She's different. We have not seen anyone really truly like her, to be honest. Move on to that. It's going to be a fatal four-way. There's also talk out there, and I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. It won't happen before the year. But we have the four horsewomen of the MMA, including Miss Ronda Rousey. And they were actually cutting a promo outside of the Mae Young Classic. And then Charlotte, Becky, Bayley came up. They pretty much said, anytime, any place. It's so funny to see Bayley really off to the side trying to be a heavy, and it was just not believable. I don't know if I want to see that. Would I want to see Ronda Rousey? 100%. It's going to be a very exciting next couple weeks, and hopefully you guys join us. As I mentioned before, when this show goes off the air, probably in about a minute or so, this will be on demand on SoundCloud, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Google Play, iTunes. Subscribe to the podcast. Also, the app is available on iTunes and Google Play. That is the easiest and the best way to listen to the program. If you have any questions, concerns, go to thewrestlingmorningshow.com. All information is there. At any point you guys want to leave us a message, a voicemail, or a text, the call line is always available at 844-627-3352. Hopefully you enjoyed this week of programming. As you guys know, we have a few sponsors here or there, and I want to thank the sponsors who have invested their time. Now, granted, we're not really making that much money off the show. It's not the purpose of it. We've only been around since the middle of May. We've made a lot of strides, and that's mostly because of you guys. There are a lot of people on Twitter that I've been communicating with, some great fans. I thank you for the support out there. We're going to make the big announcement about our No Mercy special show. That should be coming up, and that's going to be 100% live. And every time we do a special show surrounding the pay-per-view, we try to take the show to the next level and make it very, very friendly for the fans out there. All right, I'm your host, Mardel. We do this again Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. Appreciate everybody in the world listening. Thank you, wrestling fans. Be good.
The Wrestling Morning Show with Mardel, live on Broadcast Row.